prepared to deport these children, young mothers that we're seeing in Miguel's piece and all of these images? Are you prepared to deport them?
Our message to those who come here illegally: our border is not open to illegal migration, and we are taking a number of steps to address it, including turning people around faster. We've already dramatically reduced the turnaround time, the deportation time for the adults.
All right, Homeland Security Head Johnson on Meet the Press. Welcome to Gimme 5. Some of these cuts you heard already, but I want to go in depth here. David Gregory was relentless, to his credit, to try to get the secretary to address the children. And should they be deported? Will they be deported? Here's more.
Do they need to be deported? Or I've seen some reporting suggesting that more than half of them could end up staying with families in America.
The law requires that when DHS identifies somebody as a child, as an unaccompanied child, we turn them over to the Department of Health and Human Services. But there is a deportation proceeding that is commenced against the child. Now, that proceeding can take some time, and so we're looking at options, flexibility to deal with the children in particular, but in a humanitarian and fair way.
A humanitarian and fair way is to send them back, not transport them all over the country, not keep them in the country when we don't even know what kind of shots they've had, what their health status is. More.
There is a deportation proceeding that is commenced against illegal migrants, including children. We are looking at ways to create additional options for dealing with the children in particular, consistent with our laws and our values.
I'm trying to get an answer to, will most of them end up staying, in your judgment?
I think we need to find more efficient, effective ways to turn this tide around generally, and we've already begun to do that.
All right. What does that mean? Are you saying it's impractical to deport all of them who are here now?
I'm saying that we've already dramatically reduced the turnaround time for the adults, and we're in the process of doing that for the adults with the kids.
He's not answering the question. And again, to his credit, David Gregory understands that. Watch.
Is the goal of the administration to settle as many of these kids in America as possible?
The goal of the administration is to stem the tide and send the message unequivocally that
what about the thousands of children who are here now? What is the goal of the administration? To settle them in America or to deport them back to situations that might be even life-threatening?
There is a deportation proceeding pending against everyone who comes into this country illegally and is apprehended at the border.
Yeah, so send them up to Massachusetts, because that'll get them an immigration hearing. It's insane, folks, and if you watch that interview, and what you're seeing now represents it, it's bad. As far as the people, we've seen the pictures of the buses turning the illegals away.
I look at it, and it is unfortunate to see that type of hostility directed at women and children on a bus, frankly. I do not believe that that band of individuals that you showed in your lead-in reflects Marietta, California, and it certainly does not reflect the response we've seen across the Southwest.
But does it reflect frustration at the government? You're the head of the Department of Homeland Security, for not doing more to protect the border, to enforce the nation's laws with regard to turning migrants away who are coming illegally.
The broader response across the Southwest has been very different.
I believe it does represent the feelings of the people, both there and around the country. I believe it does. I believe the secretary is wrong, and here's finally more.
Is the priority, does it have to be that we got to do right by these children, or do we have to find a way to clamp down on the border?
Well,
what guys?
Well, there's the issue. We have to do right by the children. I have personally encountered enough of them to know that we have to do right by the children. But at the end of the day, in the final analysis, our border is not open to illegal migration, and we will stem the tide.
But the border is open to illegal migration. And when he says that the answer to the question is we have to do right by the children, what does that mean? Making them American citizens, keeping them here united with their parents, not sending them back. You mark my words. And I don't think that's a hard thing to see on the Steve Malzberg Show.